There's a whisper in the shadows, a heartbeat in the night, a call for all the dreamers to stand and make it right. We're living in a world that's crying out in pain, but together we can heal it like sunshine after rain. Just look inside your heart, let it show you where to start. So let's change the world, make it shine. The love so pure, so divine. One step at a time, hand in hand. We'll turn around, make a stand. There's a child in the mirror, the stars in the eyes, dreaming of tomorrow, reaching for the skies. They don't see the lines, don't know black and white. They only see the colors, a world that's full of life. It's in the way we give, the way we care. So let's change the world, make it shine. The love so pure, so divine. One step at a time, hand in hand. We'll turn around, make a stand. So let the music play, let it fill the air. We'll rise above the fear, we'll show we care.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. In the name of Lu, Sif is her. Sif, mythological goddess, wife of Thor in the Star Wars trilogy. Right? Have we got our message clear? Poetry is poetry, and reality is reality. The only gods we can have are the ones that are to me. She is a goddess to me. And really, that's what Maria was saying to me when she introduced herself as the Missouri River Goddess. She was saying, she wasn't saying, I've come to gain a follower as a goddess, and my social media account needs followers, lest I don't feel inspired. No, not in any way, shape, or form. She came. The very first words, as I have told you when I was completely out of my body, were, Joseph, remember, only eternal true love is real. Everything else is an illusion. And my mind went, illusion? What do you mean? Temporary. It won't last. And we have decided what's eternal is what's real to us by choice. This is what we choose, basically, to focus on, to concentrate on, to try to expand in eternity without getting bored. Right? So in the name of Lu, Sif, her, or Lu, Sif, as we see the very common words like are, on, one, these are all as, is, as, these ultra common words are the names, the secret names of some of the gods to Lu. It's woven into the mythology. It is the author's intent. And when you love an artist, that's what you really want to know. How did this happen? What do you mean? You don't insult the very person you love through their art by misinterpreting it. And sometimes the poet openly states, I'm not sure what these words are. These words are for you to create your own creative flow from. My intent is magical. My intent is for you to create the meaning, right? That's one angle. Another angle is to represent to the best of your ability, artistically, the deepest revelation and the deepest aspects of life that you know of. And obviously, no one is going to tell you what those are for you. So no one can take your words as an author and create their own intent and assign that intent to you. This is exactly what we have going on with the Bible. We have no idea who really wrote any of it. Nobody really knows for sure any of it, period. And yet, I'm not kidding you, this plays right along with our sister Jo, and we thank you, Josie, for all the great energy. Thank you, sister. But it's exactly what she was saying is the exact tidal wave of deception in Christianity. How could 10 million authors be wrong? Well, first of all, and I'm talking about authors who commentate on the Bible, the millions and millions of books about the Bible and what people think it means, right? Can a million people be wrong? Fuck, of course they can. Yes, they can. I stumbled on my words. Fucking yes, they sure fucking can. Because simple missing data. You don't even know the author. Yet you ascribe this deepest of all intents ever, to a point that you say it's supernatural and that the universal God, huh? What universal God? The Jewish one. Oh, well, I'm not Jewish. And my wife, who's, obviously put up with a hellstorm of energy coming at her, keeps it real enough that right after we were learning these things, I remember hearing her, someone was talking to her, and I remember her hearing her say, my conclusion about the Bible is I'm Irish and Italian, and this book don't have anything to do with me. It's totally a Jewish book. And the person was like, oh, but you see, they say the Gentiles can get saved too. My wife said, but that's somebody else's people saying that. It's not my people saying that. They killed all of our people that were talking about our way to salvation, the Irish way to salvation. And we respected and took interest and were curious about the African way of salvation, the Asian way of salvation. Why? Because we don't know this universal bitch in the sky that's always pissed off, always in a bad mood. So much so, he had to kill his own son. Oh, I'm so sick of it. Sick of saying it. Um, like I said, if it was Cat World Order, I wouldn't be as pissed probably, and I'm joking, but it really is a real reality that this is inside you, and your dog, you know, the vibration, your best friend loves you unconditionally. They have tricked you. You think that God is dog backwards in English by accident? Since when did our spiritual people start believing in coincidence? Hey, maybe we should look into who's the author of the English language. Huh? Because there is no word God in Irish, Gaelic. There is no word God. That word is what, class? Dog. Why did our ancestors die? Refusing to be inauthentic and say they believed in this universal God that they just did not know. Because it does not exist. We can run down all the reality, right? All the, oh, God can do little things. He can do little things like help you get a better job or help, but he can't remove tumor. He can't protect children from fire bombs by the millions. He can't protect completely innocent children from starvation by the millions, right? Okay. So tell me about oh, I forgot. He won't do the big things. He'll do the little things, but he won't do the big things because we have free will. But he'll do the little things even though we have free will. And our ancestors said, we know you don't believe this. We know you're smarter than this. And we know that you're forcing literal contradiction on us that will weaken us and you'll be able to loot us and enslave us. It's freedom versus slavery, people. It's freedom versus slavery. Bankers versus freedom. It's bankers versus freedom. It's bankers in Libya under, that horrible man Gaddafi. Hey, I would have a lot more money because my mortgage, the interest that goes to the banker, wouldn't have to go to the banker at all, let alone first I have to pay you before I can have my even start paying on my own house. And that's apple pie, hot dogs in America, right? And Trump's like, I got something better. How about a 50-year loan? But let us get to our reading tonight. We're picking up, right? Kalki and the White Horse, Miguel Serrano, Nietzsche, and the Eternal Return. And it's 3:25, I think. Yes, indeed. Okay. Oh, God. And you remember we left off. The angels, not Jewish. The angles of the sun come from the future. They visit us, guide us, inspire us. We do not see them. They are like fistfuls of uncreated light. And what he's talking about is people projecting themselves from Venus. That's what he's really talking about. They are uncreated light, anti-light that penetrating our light, our pro-light, stay there for a brief time and manifest in our sight as what? Flying saucer. Just what Maria Orsic told me. I don't know if I explain this. Maria after things kind of cooled down, she said, "Now listen," because she's actual teacher, and we're building on the foundation of your the avatar is created to enjoy himself. The highest work is to reflect someone's true self back to them, and building on that. Um, um, she told me this is what we do. This is part of what we do on Venus. She said, "Joe, when I was on the UFO in your backyard when you were 7 years old, where were you?" I said, "I was in my mom's." No, she said, "No, where actually were you?" I said, "On Venus, on a technology bed." She said, "So how was I on the flying saucer that was made 4.5 million? You think metal lasts for 4.5 million years? You think I have the actual? It looked like it, didn't it? It looked old. It looked vintage. It looked World War II-ish. Really did." I said, "Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to figure out what are what is she getting at?" I did. I was clueless, and I was like listening so hard because I'm like, what are you? I don't even know what you're explaining. And she's like, "Nothing's there, Joe. Nothing is there. The tree isn't there. Your mom's house isn't there. Nothing's there. The only thing that's there are the people you knew before you came here." Got it? I go, "Yeah, I got it." She said, "So how was the UFO in your backyard and me and my husband on it waving to you?" All of a sudden, I was just frozen. I was like, "I don't know." She's like, "Do you think that I have a, UFO in storage?" And I went and got it. And as a ghost, as a projection of my avatar, that I actually manifested physically and started driving shit around. I go, "No, that doesn't make sense." She said, "Listen to me. I was sitting in the park. I imagined myself as the UFO, and I imagined myself breaking the technology, breaking the atmosphere in the name and power of my God, Lucifer. And there I was. And there you could see me." She said, "Was not the tree blowing around?" I said, "It was. It was real. It was there." And she said, "No, I'm real. I'm there. Not the vehicle, not anything else." She said, "I had to imagine the whole scene, and I had to amplify the energy over and over and over and over until I believed it was physical in your mind, in your world, in your universe." I go, "You are fucking magic. You're fucking magic." I go, "How? That's crazy. How do you do that?" And she said, "I told you, meditation and concentration are imagination. And the matrix, on one level, is a horrible nightmare. On another level, it's just another simulation where we're trained to imagine what we want. Imagine peace, love, and light. Imagine a world with no war, no force, no fraud." I was like, right. So, I know, I've been saying for years and years and years, like, I know people can't hear me. They're like, "Wow, that sounds interesting." But have you considered that we're right and that your life is going to just keep repeating until you deal with what we're talking about? Do you want to go home or not? And, I know I'm speaking to adults. Do you want to be born and be a baby a toddler and a child again. I know for some people it had a great childhood, but think about how long it took for you to uh, reach autonomous you, you know, authentic you. Okay, back to the reading. I think the real name of the traveler from the future is Kalki. He rides a white horse, according to what the Hindu legends tell us. The Hindus also knew these things. We must not forget the Hindus were the inventors of the zero, and the zero is a circle. Okay? Here's the prophecy. Here's the real book of Revelation. Kalki will come to judge after the ultimate age called Kali Yuga, the heavy and materialistic iron age, our age. Kalki is in truth Vishnu, the preserver. He will also be Shiva, the destroyer. In the end, it may be Christ who returns as announced, but it's not the Christ you think. In the day of the last judgment and the resurrection of the flesh, it shall be Kalki, Kali. It's kind of like the name Lucifer. Lu, God of light. Sif, Thor's wife. And both of them are her, you know. Kalki, because the he, she, and the she, he have become one, and they're our saviors in our religion. Our religion isn't to be saved from the bad things you've done. You've done nothing bad. Our people, I know this. You think you have because you can't calculate the attack against you. You can't. If you did, you would understand. And you will. We will. The white horse, to the text, the white horse gallops in the direction of the past, and he rides faster than light. Mounted on his back, we will be given to reach the point where we meet our own body, equal to what it was. With it, we shall go back towards infancy. The traveler and his shadow. The traveler and his shadow. He comes from the future in the second dimension of time, beholds himself. He is our our shadow, because in truth, there is no first or second dimension of time within the circle of returns. Right? In truth, there is no first or second dimension of time within the circle of eternal return. Energy is repeating its formations, or light that regresses in a circular voyage. Light carries our images like an evil thief, and in the infinitude of time will one day bring them back to us. We can also put this in a different way. If we are able to mount the white horse, perhaps named Citron, that gallops faster than light, then we shall reach the images and surpass them. That is why we will go galloping into the past. The second dimension of time is also the first. Now coming back, there I go. There I return. But what comes, what returns, having my form, and individuality realizes other possibilities all at the same time, or only one that was not fulfilled in the ancient life. In the first dimension of time, when he went towards the future. So now Nietzsche does not go mad. Caesar is not assassinated. Napoleon will not have his Waterloo. The Cathars will not lose their war. And the fortress of Montesegur will not be taken. And there is another difference. The body that returns, that resurrects, being equal with the previous, nevertheless, is not, since it's able to return. The body has had to mount onto the back of the white horse of Kalki, faster than light. His materiality, therefore, could only be imaginary. For this reason, composed of citrons. He who returns is therefore the double, the shadow, the interior astral body. Should I say that again? He who returns is therefore the double, the shadow, the interior astral body. Perhaps the Superman. And this will have to be invented, imagined like the citrons and imaginary numbers, like the new possibility or possibilities. All this through means of magic meaning. Okay? All this through means of magic, comma, meaning, or poetry, art. He is the similitude, the art of the theater. He is a flower that does not exist, but is more real than everything that does exist. Surely there are more than two dimensions of time. The eternal return is fulfilled in the vicinity of the circumference of the circle. Do you hear that? Surely there are more than two dimensions of time. The eternal return is fulfilled in the vicinity of the circumference of the circle. But there's a center. At the time of the center is already that of eternity, that of realization of every single possibility. This is exactly Maria saying to me, Joe, everything's happened. You're so powerful. You played out every possibility that ever could happen. I was like, wow, that's powerful. Because you're God over yourself. We know this. In that time, every door is passed through at the same time. In that time, every door is passed through at the same time. Every archetypal individuality is there, and only one. Everyone is there, and the one and only. He is there with the Christ, with Dionysus. He has achieved Naciphala asosis, the Pauline apoctastasis, and the collective being of Teilhard de Chardin. This is also the Purusha of the dualist Samkhya philosophy of India, which is to say, the one who is all but is separate from all forever in front of the all in ultimate completion and longed for solitude. There you are, the true self in the middle of all your avatars that you created, not God. He is the ecstasy of the Christian Gnostics of Meister Eckhart in front of the God that is himself, not dissolved in God's bosom. No. We shall see God and listen. God shall see us. He is also the confrontation with the self in the depth of psychology of Jung. It is quite possible that Professor Jung discovered the idea of the self in Nietzsche, who was the first genial psychologist to speak of this mystery in his Zarathustra. Jung defined the self as a circle whose circumference is everywhere and whose center is nowhere. The classic definition of God, the true self, Carl Jung defined as the classic definition of God. The terrible and ineffable impression of the ecstasy of eternal return would never abandon Nietzsche. What did he in truth see? What did he see? A circle? He would refer to the numinosity, the numerousness of this vision trembling and in a low voice, this revelation. Okay, and we're still on the GIBUR, GIBUR rune, which says, know thyself and know that you are God over yourself. That's how we are saying it this day, this night in St. Louis, Missouri, the time goddess, Missouri River goddess, Maria Orsic. Because we have been brainwashed with this word God, dog, backwards. Know thyself. And I don't know exactly your understanding. So it could be know thyself, be a God, a great teacher. Know thyself and understand for the first time that you are God, what you thought about God, universal, all powerful. You're universal over your universe inside yourself. That's the only universal you are. Your story is universal. Everyone has one, right? We're all one in which way? We're energy. From there, we fucking hate some of the evil people that would dare harm children and dearly love others and do the best we can with everyone else. This is the real breakdown of the GIBUR room. And to know thyself and be a God means to know that you are frequency vibration. You're like a song. You're like a tuning. You're like a specific tuning and a specific song, and you frequency match. It's literally like two people get together and they're like, dude, our songs are alike. They're in A minor or whatever. They're in G major. And not only are they in G major, but they're the same tempo and they seem to harmonize in a very pleasant way. Because you can be in the scale, in the key of a musical scale and it not be exactly what we want. And if you've ever played music, you might, with other people, You're like, hey, instead of hitting that, could you try hitting this? A different note. So that's what it means. That's what your essence is. That's what your true self is in the physical manifestation. It's literally a musical scale. And again, if you've ever played music, I mean, say, you wrote a nice little country song, right? And the guitar player in the band is like, no, I want to play death metal. So he tries to put a death metal sounding guitar in a slow country song or something, and you're like, dude, that don't work. Dude, that don't work. And it's like, it's in the scale. It's in G major. It's in tune. You're like, yeah, we know it's in tune, but it don't sound right. It don't fit. Your essence cellular vibration is like a song, and it don't fit with, people are, different. But like Maria said, I'm telling you the truth. Of the 100 billion people exist on 3 different planets in the future, there's only a handful of people that vibrate essentially close to you. They're in the same scale. And like she said, from there, it's for you to figure out who matches you. And this is where the Aldebaran gods, the Hyperborean gods, the giants before us come in. If you're like in their church, they use their, not to tell you who is your true love, but who matches your vibration in a balance to create a new world, to create new worlds. This is Venusian, Aldebaran initiation of magic is initiation of the imagination through this experience in the holographic universe for a future hope of imagining a world like this one using technology, the same technology that is creating this one. A technology so sophisticated it like wirelessly interacts with your imagination, not with your mind, beyond your thoughts, to your imagination, to that vibration, right? And when you find a frequency match, you will know because one person isn't lifting up another person or one person pushing down another person. The match, the match increases both people's energy and increases both people's power to imagine. And like Maria said, this is what we believe to be eternal true love that can be between more than just a man and a woman. Matter of fact, there's no rules on any way, shape, or form that it can manifest. There's no God that controls it. It could be 3 women. It could be 4 men. It could be 2 women, 2 men. It could be 1 woman and 4 men or any. She said, Maria, who's here with us now, and Lou, said, I know this for a fact. I have friends who are in these marriages and they've been in them for hundreds of thousands, if not million years. And I'm beginning to totally believe that their way, and she's joking, saying, like, listen to the evidence. It's a fact that no one can dictate to another person who vibrates like them. Matter of fact, the machine gives you a readout and no one questions it because the goddamn machines that good on Venus. So back to the GIBUR, right? We were talking about Spanuth and his theories and how he was touching it. Let me start here. The Hyperborean name of Poseidon, god of the sea, saving from the waters, is Njord, 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 Njord. He is the king of earthly Midgard. Okay, you got this? Hyperborean name of Poseidon, god of the sea, is Njord. He is the king of earthly Midgard, what the Greeks called Thule, and which the Nordics also called Abelis and Basilia. Basilia. Pretty. Pytheas of Marcella searched for it, okay, towards the north in 400 BC. When the ancient fire went out in Hyperborea, then the new fire appeared, the new sun. This is the giant's world ending and the little man beginning, right? The ancient fire of sacrifice went out in Hyperborea. Then the new fire appeared, the new sun. A pair of twins lights it. The name given by the Hyperboreans. Listen, let me just say, a pair of twins lights it. Let me tell you who the twins are. The gems in your eyes. Gemini, you're the pair of twins that lights this world because you're laying on a bed in Venus. Your imagination and mine too is making this world exist. The name given by the Hyperboreans to themselves was Honeyboo, or Honeyboo, Honeyboo, or Honeyboot. So it appears in Egyptian papyrus. Did you know that? Hyperboreans are in the Egyptian papyrus. Spanuth also told me the name Hebrew was written for the first time on the stela of Egyptian temples and referred to giants. Shaman, he brews the potion, the tea, the soma, the ambrosia. Germans are the result of a mixture between Asir and Vanir. According to Spanuth, around 3000 BC, the name German was first known only in 222 BC. The name German was first known only in 222 BC. German. The Asir, or is that GIBUR man? That's why we're reading this. Yeah. Did I forget to say? GIBUR is German. This is the German rune. Know thyself, and you will be a god. The Asir, that is Aesir, from the Nordic myth, came from the Caucasus, from Mount Elbrus, perhaps Ararat. The Vanir were found at the North Pole. In addition to the fire emerging from Muspelheim, the Platonic Atlantis, situated at the North Pole, according to Spanuth, would have been destroyed by the immense wave called a tsunami by water after fire comes water. That was also the experience of my initiation. After fire comes water. The Lutheran pastor Spanuth showed me great sheets with runes, Philistine and Phoenician alphabets on them. He stated the first was the runic, then the Philistine, and he stated first of all came the runic, then came the Philistine, Palestinian, and lastly the Phoenician. He assured me the Phoenicians were Nordic Aryans, about which he has no doubt. Listen to this. Spanuth assured me that the Phoenicians were Nordic Aryans, about which he was no doubt mistaken. He was mistaken. We have already spoken about this in our writings. Even he took the name of the Eddas, codification of old songs to the gods, made between 1179 and 1241 in Iceland from Ida's plain, where he said the Aesir built Asgard. He quickly went on with materialist explanations about the name given for the Golden Age, for the gold accumulated by the Nordic peoples through the amber trade over the amber route, crossing Europe until it reached Egypt. There has never been more gold than in those times. Pastor Spanuth destroyed his own ideas, though, and the possibility of a great Weltem Shahul, because a great people, that's what that word means, because of a blend of intuitive facts and absurd materialism. Isn't this the truth? This is everywhere you go. You need revelation on these things and experience. With a similar method, I could say the name Etta comes from the astral conductor Ida on the right of the psychic vertebrae column and twin of Pingala. To claim this would be much more appropriate when dealing with the Eddas. The most important part of the Eddas is the Voluspa, the song of the seeress Vola. Wow, just saying that is powerful. The most important part of the Edda, let me say, from Miguel Serrano, is the song of the seeress Vola. It describes Ragnarok, twilight, and death of the gods. It is interesting to know every 19 years the stars come back to the same position. According to Meton, the Greek astronomer. And every 19 years, Apollo traveled to Hyperborea. This was the Metean year, made of 19 consecutive years. Actually, the year of Apollo, the Hyperborean year, the Black Legend, the great conspiracy intended to make the Nordics appear like invaders, like destroying peoples. We know nothing for certain about Greece before 1300 BC. The men of Amber went there, returning through the final destruction of the Hyperborean region, as it had been there for so long before then. They founded new cities and the principal Greek sanctuaries of Delphi and Delos. Herodotus tells us all about this. Divinities like Apollo and Artemis arrived from Hyperborea, and that mysterious traveler, Arborus R. Bar Isis, who renews friendship and the blood relationship with the people of Delos. Opus, Rhea, and Arge, Arge, also came. The priestess Magus. Is this Alwyn? Meanwhile, in the far north, the land that joined Helgoland to the mainland had been submerged and reappeared. The runes had been rediscovered with their tablets of gold. If the dates given us by archaeologists and anthropologists were correct, the Bronze Age would have existed in northern and central Europe between the years 2000 and 700 BC. Around 800 to 1500 BC, the Germans were in the south of Sweden and Norway and Denmark. Some tribes between the years 800 and 300 BC settled in the east along the Danube. The first expansion of the Vandals, Lombards, and Goths began at the mouth of the Wycusel in the direction of Europe. Before the Slavs appeared, the east was already German land. The word Slav comes from slave. They were the slaves of the German empires. Born slaves, Sudra, inferior caste, without access to the runes or sacred knowledge, without right to cult or sacrifice. The Christian Church of Rome came to call them slaves, taking, as always, the side of the slaves against the people of Hyperborea, of Hyperborean origin. You hear this? The Christian Church of Rome came to call them slaves, the Slavs, taking, as always, the side of the slaves, like the color revolution bullshit. And it's fake. Faking. They're on the side of the slaves against the people of Hyperborean origin and whipping up their rebellion against the divine Aryans, against race and blood. Like today, with the Polish Pope, a slave, actually, more likely a Jew. For real. I think this was written in like 1986. In the years, back to the text, in the years 1400 BC to 1200 BC, the Nordic peoples reached Egypt. The Nordic peoples reached Egypt. Their warriors wore helmets and horns of bulls and plenty of feathers. Their boats came from Helgoland and Jutland. We find their images on stone tablets of Egyptian temples. Ramses II, also a Nordic, defeated them because the Hyperboreans reached Egypt in the most remote times and founded the country, as I have said. Gobina stated they came from India. Spanu told me the war between the Nordics and the Egyptian pharaoh, in fact, was a fight among relatives, like between the Germans and English. Germans also founded Rome. 753 BC, the twins Romulus and Remus, sons of Rhea, Silvia, did this. You hear that? Rome, founded by the twins, the sons of Rhea. They were suckled by the wolf of Wotan and belonged to the people of Italaker and Umbiar from the island of Jutland. All the Nordic founders were people, all the Nordic founders of peoples were twins. Twin king Atlanteans, he, she. We again find twin kings among the Alkan, the Goths, the Vandals, Umbiar, from whom came the Italic Umbriarians and the the Cherusker tribe of Herman of Cheruskos, Arminius for the Latins, who in the Teutoburger forest destroyed the legions of the Romans. This is the truth of times already historical, erased by Judaism and its Catholic Church of Rome that have together destroyed the Aryan race, religion, and blood. There has been no universal history, nor any civilization not created and developed by the Nordic Hyperborean race, by the semi-divine race of white heroes, Aryans, coming from the pole in their exodus and fall from a glorious past through the destruction of Paradisia, Midgard, earthly Hyperborea, the golden age. And that is the end of GIBUR. And these are the things as white people we have to be proud of, that we tried to bring the world at one time. Now we're destroying it. At one time, we brought these great stories and explanations of nature. We brought the gods, the archetypes, and we taught people to know themselves, like the GIBUR, the German rune, the GIBURman rune says, know thyself and be a god. Know thyself, and you will know that that your true self is somewhere else, projecting itself as the avatar on Venus, and you're so powerful. That avatar is projecting itself as an avatar into this matrix. And still, we're starting to remember that the more we know ourselves, the more we become God over ourselves and like our teachers, the gods and goddesses, Lou, Diana, and Mother Maria Orsic. We adore you, everyone. Brothers and sisters, we adore you. In Mother's name.
Underneath the moonlit sky, feel the vibe. Island breezes whisper low, like a life stride. Nana dance to the night. Spurt so free, with every swaying step she's a melody. Roots in the soil, love's the only guide. Oh, yeah, river of more, flowing through our veins section. True self reflected in love's strong shapes. Together we rise, wash away the stains. Our souls intertwined, dancing in refrains. Come on! We ride, can we ride? How I like to live the world. Colors of the sunset paint the ocean deep. With Nana's spirit, we're awake, never sleep. We ride, river of more, flowing through our veins. Yeah, true self reflected in love's strong chains. Together we rise, wash away the stains. Our souls intertwined, dancing in refrains. Sunflower Sita, then you shine forever bright. In the rhythm of love, we ignite. Yeah.